Hello, Jamie.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
You cut your hair, huh?
Yes, I did. You got to sometime, you know.
Yeah, I understand, man. Go and get you a new look, bro.
So tell me, this was an exciting year for you, wasn't it?
Like in my life, I've had exciting years. When I was 15, I started playing on the varsity football team in Texas, and I thought that was like, the pinnacle of my life. But right now, it's a great time. Down from Collateral, Ray Charles. We even got nominated for a Grammy. I mean, it's one of those times where you just really like enjoy it because it's really like organically real. So that's what's exciting about it.
And the only thing is that, you have to realize that it's a good time because later on years you'll say 2004, man, that was a year.
Hot. Man, I was hot. What am I doing in Vegas? Anyway, folks, now, funny thing happened to me on the way here now. Who's from Poughkeepsie? Because I always tell people this. I said, listen, man, always enjoy yourself for that time. I mean, sometimes people go into the shell or that glazed look. I won't name any names, but I've seen stars that after something big happens, they're this now. Well, I just wanted to get away. Life just came apart for me, and you're just like, what's going on? I equate everything to sports. Like if you play basketball and you average 12 a night, maybe one night you go for 40. That doesn't mean that you stop playing basketball. We'll keep playing basketball. We'll keep doing movies, but it's like, just realize that this was a great night. Enjoy it, pop the champagne, have a good time, and then go back to work and just don't think that, this is it, because you will get those days. I mean, hopefully if you live long enough, you'll get days where you'll be like, man, I wish I could go back to that time and enjoy it.
The interesting thing about Ray is that it's one of the rare biographies where the actual person that was portrayed in the movie was a pinnacle part of the process.
Yeah, 15 years, Ray Charles, Taylor Hackford, Stuart Benjamin have been trying to get this project done. I'm glad they waited that long in order for me to be a part of it, but Ray was very, very instrumental in making sure that it was legit. Like all the stories, all the things that happened. I would say, Ray, is this how it went? And it was great to have him right there, saying, yeah, that's the way it went, or to say, no, it didn't quite go that way. Let's change it. And that's great when you can go to that resource, or even go to his best friend, Quincy Jones, who's another, pioneer in music, and have him say, this is how it actually went down. And that's what you're feeling in that movie. You're feeling the genuineness of the film, because that's how it really happened.
And some of the things that happened to Ray and stuff, and that also revealed in the movie, are not as flattering to him.
No, not at all. And that was the thing. He wanted it to hang out. It would have been boring. He said, man, it'll be boring if you don't tell, because I asked him, I said, was it a lot of girls, Ray? No. I said, be honest. And, he would open up and say, yeah, there were Bobby Soxers. Because when we go to a club and we hear an Usher record, we got to go buy the record. He said, but we were actually the record. When Quincy Jones gives his account of what was going on, he said, we didn't know we were hot. We just knew that we were the musicians for the club, And so it was all interesting, including the women, the drugs, and everything went along with making music, because music comes out of everything. It comes out of pain, comes out of fear, comes out of wanting to change things, So all of that was very instrumental in how he came about as a musician.
And what was amazing, of course, of him was that he was famous and in a time when it was not as flattering to be African American and hard.
Yeah, you say that very nicely, but it was darn right tough as hell to be black in America in the 40s and the 50s and be blind and coming from Florida all the way through that Bible Belt of the South, which you would think that if it's the Bible Belt, why do you hate black folks so much? But he had to go through that, and it was very treacherous. And for him to make it and to be able to use his music to sort of subdue people, like when he goes into the country western bar, and the guys, you get that nigger out of here, I don't want him in here. But when he heard that music, kind of, wow, and that's what music does. And so that was his blessing. And I believe his music was also his superhero-ness, you know what I'm saying? That was like his golden lasso or his utility belt, was to be able to use the music to diffuse the ignorance so we could all, experience the things that are coming out of his fingers and out of his mouth. So it's triumph immensely, because people don't remember how tough it is. Like when you talk to my daughter really doesn't have a recollection of what racism is. She's growing up in California, me growing up in Texas. It's still that way to this day. I mean, this is going to trip you out. I come from a town, Terrell, Texas, population 12,000. The newspaper is 12 pages. I've never been on the front cover.
No way.
Well, what we going to put him on there for, man? I mean, yeah, Ray Charles. I mean, that's good, man. But just like Miss Cathcart down there doing this quilting, man. These big quilts is nice. We're going to put that on the front page. And so, that's the way it is today.
Well, let's hope that this year, when you'll be nominated for an Oscar, they will find a reason why.
Hey, man, what is that anyway, man? An Oscar. What is that all about, man? Can he hunt? Can that son of a bitch hunt? That's what I'm talking about, man. How are you with some snipes, man? Can you shoot snipes?
We have to talk about the transformation that you went through in that movie. I mean, 2 minutes into that movie, you forget that this is Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, that was a combination of myself, Taylor Hackett, getting in the room saying, this is what we need to do. Taylor said, you need to lose 30 pounds. So from 190 to 157. Getting the young Ray Charles. Cassette tape that said, Down the Shore Show. We have Kenny Rogers and Mr. Ray Charles. And then in the back you hear the young Ray Charles talk. Then the nuance, him sitting. Nothing to do, not performing. Answering the phone. Just being himself. Those are the things that are going to be bigger in the movie than the performance. Because you expect the performance. You expect this. But do you expect the walk? Do you expect the scratches? Do you expect the different things that we're going to use his DNA and then just, modulate through the whole script, his voice, and the way he grows up in front of you. And that's what was amazing. Taylor would always say, don't do that, because that's the confident Ray. If I would answer back to women or to authority, he said, you have to be the unsure Ray, that I may not make it. I may have come all the way out here. I may not even be where I'm supposed to be. So we did a lot of that to just capture the nuance of this guy.
The physical change that you had with the prosthetic eyes and everything put you in a situation as well where you felt blind, like on the set, remember?
12 to 14 hours a day, blind, and that's tough, because if you close your eyes right now, but you can pop them open when you get scared, because that's the only reason we open them, because we get nervous over where am I, get my bearings so I don't faint, topple over, whatever. Imagine not being able to do that for 14 hours, and then imagine not being able to do that for the rest of your life when you could see. So it was our best comparison as what Ray Charles was going through, and we needed it. The music felt better, the feel felt better, the scenes moved better because we really were blind.
The thing is that I remember you telling me at the premiere where you were left alone.
Yeah, and that's lunch. Whenever I takes off, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna come get me in a minute. But you have to think that Ray Charles went through that too. I mean, several times nobody wanted to mess with Ray. I'm not hanging with the blind guy. Remember the movie? I'm not hanging with the blind guy. I'm not babysitting. How many times that probably happened to him? So he said, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna write songs better. I'm gonna take this music to another level, so people will start bringing lunch to me. People will start bringing dinner to me, because they know that I'm serious about this business.
Now the thing with the autobiographical movies in Hollywood is that, a lot of time they're being accused to rewriting history, because, when you write a script, you have to dramatize things. And, exactly. And a lot of historical stuff, people will know what Hollywood presents rather than what the news story is. Do you think that Ray, today, now that Ray has passed away, will be, the best thing for his legacy for people to remember him by?
I think Ray Charles snuck one in on us. I think Ray Charles had the best life an entertainer could have, because his story is so fantastic for 50 years of being a great musician and artist, and then to have his story be told in a fabulous way. I think Taylor Hackett did a fabulous job in telling the story along with Ray, and he lucked out. Some people, they've done stories. I've seen other autobiographical movies that haven't been as good, because there wasn't that person to run it by, and there was somebody else telling the story. I believe we lucked out, and I believe Taylor lucked out by having it independently done, because some of the things we may not have been able to get away with if it was at a big studio. The drug thing, this guy's not likable. I mean, He's running these women. This is not the Ray Charles we want to see. This is America the Beautiful, the right one, baby, and you know, the Raelettes. And I believe that it all happened perfectly for Mr. Charles. He got away with one.
So how does Jamie Foxx top that?
You go to work, man. You keep hooping, man. You keep hooping. Maybe this was a nice three-pointer. Just keep working on the three and keep going till you laugh. You know, you keep hooping.
As always, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, man.